This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. As COVID-19 cases continue to trend downward and a number of COVID-19 restrictions have been relaxed, the Pan American Health Organization warning that the Bahamas should remain dynamic in its COVID-19 protocols. This much coming from Director of Health Emergencies at PAHO, Dr. Ciro Ugarte, as he gives PAHO's take on the Bahamas' recent relaxation, especially on mask mandates.
Well, in the case of the Bahamas, the national authorities and the Ministry of Health is taking into consideration several criteria to update the public health and social measures, including the number of cases, the number of new cases, the number of new deaths, but also the availability of healthcare and hospitalization beds and ICU beds for symptomatic patients. But also they are following what are the vaccination coverage rates, as well as what is the situation of the epidemic situation in the countries or places of origin of the visitors.
The new COVID-19 protocols in the Bahamas include the removal of a requirement to wear face masks in a lobby, corridor, or casino of a hotel or an outdoor setting when there is at least 3 feet of space between people. Dr. Ugarte says the Bahamian government is taking the approach of following recommendations by PAHO and the World Health Organization. However, he warns the public should not be surprised if these mandates change suddenly.
We would like to highlight that in the Bahamas, for example, the measures for festivals are still in place. So the Ministry of Health is advising and finally approving some festivals or public gatherings based on certain standards. So this is something that will be followed in the future. So this is a recommendation actually for all the Americas. And in the case of the Bahamas, these adjustments must be dynamic in the context. So we shouldn't be surprised that some of these measures are relaxed and then come back and also be applied in certain areas of the country and not necessarily in the entire country on all territories that are in this context. Thank you.
Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Michael Darville has gone on record to say that the change to mask mandates is directly tied in with the percentage of vaccinated individuals at our resorts. He also notes that he is pleased with the downward trend of cases in recent weeks. Face-to-face learning will resume at the Patrick J. Bethel High School in Abaco. We learned this much from Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin on Tuesday. She adds that more teachers will also be sent to the school to address the teacher shortage there, something she describes as a legacy issue. This follows a protest at the school for that same reason. Minister Hannah Martin assures, however, that her ministry is addressing the problem.
We've been seeking to address it, and the engagement of teachers is underway through the public service system. But in the interim, we have recruited what we call supply teachers, who are trained, experienced teachers, some of whom have already retired, who have agreed to come back.
She adds that 12th grade students at the school will be asked to come in on Thursday of this week for orientation. The school's principal will meet again today with support staff and teachers to prepare them and ensure that everyone is ready to distribute timetables. The education minister says the supply of teachers will also be at that meeting to be introduced to staff and meet with subject coordinators for briefing on the LMS online platform. Farming and food security is one topic that is at the top of the list for the Bahamas and CARICOM countries that rely on a vast amount of food imports from the US, Asia, and Europe. But new technology like unmanned drones, usually associated with the military operations, are fast becoming tools of the farm. And as we hear in this next report by Dorino Saunders, here in the Bahamas, we are not being left behind.
Unmanned aerial vehicles or drones are usually associated with military applications, but are fast becoming known for their use in agriculture. On Tuesday, the Bluefields Farms in western New Providence teamed up with the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, or IECA, for a drone demonstration showing how new drone technology will help global and regional farmers. Although the use of drones in farming is in its formative stages, industry experts anticipate farms will eventually account for an 80% share of the commercial drone market globally. Clay Sweeting, Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs, commended IECA for its consistent support of the Bahamas' goal of food security and the new drone technology as a welcome tool.
I am pleased that IECA continues to believe in the vision of my ministry and has taken this monumental step to demonstrate what is possible for agri-tech in the Bahamas. These drones can be used for aerial mapping, crop density management, irrigation analysis, and plant health assessment. Imagine what farmers can do with data that they are able to collect from using these drones.
Drones can replace many time-consuming methods used in farming, like dispersing pesticides and fertilizers and seeds, as well as testing soil quality and providing security. Carl Lawson, president of the drone company Dragonfly, gave more details on exactly how information and data provided by drone footage can help farmers save money and generate greater yields.
The downstream part of the drone sector, if you will, is what do you do with the information that you take? It's not just capturing pictures or just looking at things, it's actually what do you do with that? And so where the industry is going is being able to take all the information and from an agricultural standpoint, you run that information through analytics and you use it to try to predict the future. So if you're flying over a farm and you realize that the crops are dry, that the pH balance is wrong, that it needs more fertilizer. If we put on fertilizer today and we know it's going to rain tomorrow, we can expect another 15% in crop growth, crop health, crop production. This is the type of downstream applications that you can do with the data that comes out of drones.
With new technology like drones helping farmers to produce more food, the other challenge for the Bahamas is to get the food to market. Currently, Bluefields Farms sells its products in most local food stores. However, Minister Sweeting explains that the government, in cooperation with IECA, will introduce a system that would improve the connection between farmers and customers nationwide.
This campaign is geared towards the goal of lowering our exorbitant food bill that remains around $1 billion. Moreover, IECA is partnering with the ministry to create an app that would create a seamless connection from the ministry between farmers as well as wholesalers and buyers. We are working very hard to digitize and to modernize our ministry to improve the ease of doing business in the agricultural sector. And soon we will hire extension officers whose duties will include connecting farmers and buyers.
A number of government officials attended the drone demonstration, including Attorney General Senator Ryan Pinder, Zane Lightbourne, Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Technical and Vocational Training, and Leonardo Lightbourne, Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs. Jarino Saunders, JCN News.
Fidelity Bank named as the title sponsor for this year's Bahamas Association of Independent Secondary Schools track and field competition. This much is gleaned by way of a press conference held today by Fidelity CEO Mr. Gowan Bowe at the company's Frederick Street office. Following a 2-year hiatus, the BAISS competition is slated to return on Thursday the 17th and Friday the 18th of March. Fidelity CEO Mr. Bowe explains why sponsoring this event was so important to their organization.
When the actual BAISS got the permission to host the event, and naturally it requires support and funding to pull off such an event, and I would believe that a number of the requests went out. When we received it within our organization, and we've really started the initiative talking about your actual physical health, financial health, mental health. Well, naturally sports aligns with physical health, and to be perfectly honest, another part of the Fidelity, I'm going to say, principles are the development of youth. And so when we think about sports and putting together youth sports, it certainly was a natural fit. And so from that perspective, this was one that we wanted to ensure did come off. With such short notice, certainly for the athletes and the administrators, organizers, if we could remove the burden of how do we pay for this, then certainly that would allow us to focus on really the matter at hand, which is the development of our youth.
BAISS President Perry R. Cunningham told the media that this year's competition will be significantly different from those pre-COVID. Mr. Cunningham notes that as an after effect of the pandemic, several BAISS-affiliated schools will not be participating in this year's competition. With this, the 9 schools that are participating are St. Anne's High School, Aquinas College, St. John's College, Temple Christian High School, Kingsway Academy, St. Augustine's College, C.W. Saunders, and newcomer to the BAISS, Lifer Key International School. This event will act as a qualifier for the upcoming Carifta Games that are scheduled to take place in Jamaica this year. With many beauty pageant fans in the Bahamas still buzzing from the top 10 finish by Chantel O'Brien in the Miss Universe pageant in December, the Bahamas Miss World representative Sienna Evans is ready to resume her attempt to win the Bahamas its first Miss World crown. Sienna arrived safely in Puerto Rico on Saturday to resume her journey. The Miss World 2021 coronation night was originally scheduled for December 17th, but was postponed due to COVID health and safety concerns. It was then moved to March 16th, 2022. Sienna is one of just 40 semi-finalists who have been invited back to Puerto Rico to compete in this 70th Miss World finale. There were contestants from 57 countries that were not invited to the finale. Sienna says she is honored and will do her best to make the Bahamas proud. Sienna is among the judges' top 25 choice for her Beauty with a Purpose project called Access Granted, from her goal to provide more Bahamians with improved access to healthcare. Sienna was also placed in the top 15 out of 100 in the pageant's top model competition. The Miss Bahamas organization is confident of a top finish, as Sienna appears to be one of the favorites. The show begins tonight at 8 p.m. on NBC and Telemundo TV. Well, that does it for news this evening. Once again, I'm Tyler Simonet, and from all of us here at JCN News, have a good evening, everyone.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.